the information age and functioning in the information age. And we've all faced so many challenges and new technologies and new websites and have adopted new behaviors for interacting on Google, on Facebook, on Twitter. We've developed our profiles, and I couldn't even count how many different usernames and passwords I have set up for different.
Because that's why you don't remember any of them,
right? Right. I've like one secret place where I write them all down.
So, keep that close to your vest.
top secret location. I keep it secured in the underground bunker on the east compound of the Andy's Philosophy Corner mansion. So
yes,
yes, it's right next to the big garage of stretch limousines that I keep for entertaining all my international philosophy friends and colleagues. So, Raeann, what would you say are 2 or 3 of the biggest things that have changed for you about what information you provide or information you receive, communications over the internet? Did you have a MySpace account when that was a thing?
I did. I canceled that. I had a Facebook account, canceled that. Still have a Twitter account. I think we talked about this earlier. I do keep that. And as you had mentioned before, how we seek seeking information, and I look at how I seek information. And I know that I'm constrained with my own mind, that I have certain views that I think are, in the realm of possibilities that are more likely to what I believe. And I am more adept to listen to those, read those things, but I don't stop there, because to say that everything that I think and I think I know could be untrue, and to not challenge your own thoughts is a fault, I believe. So I take those things that I think I know, and I go down and I read all the harshest comments on those particular, statements that they post, videos that they post, because I want to get a more well-rounded view of what everybody's saying. So then I can well-round my mind.
Sure.
And are you the same way?
Well, yes, I am also limited by my experiences and my upbringing, and I think we all are. In a very abstract way, we all live in different universes that only overlap some of the time, I think. And now we're going to take a short break. We will be right back. And we're back. This is Chief Philosophical Officer Andy Hoke on Andy's Philosophy Corner, brought to you by our team of professionals at the Steel Plaza Podcast. Please feel free to give generously. It's not cheap, but it's not free to produce the show. So your attention is greatly appreciated, as are other forms of support. So our very special guest today, and this is exciting for me, a listener of the podcast has joined me today, and it is Raeann. Raeann, how's everything for you? Is your seat comfortable? Did you want some more coffee or?
The producers have provided me a nice environment, and I enjoy being here with you. And I'm actually excited about everything that we've talked about so far, and all of the foundations that you've placed. This is exciting. This is it's what I think it is it's leading to questions, and I think questioning things is one of the greatest things we can do.
Right. So, for the listeners, we were able to fly in Raeann, and I hope everything with your suite is okay.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
No, it was great. Everything was great.
Because there's this one time where we ordered filet mignon, and they delivered T-bones to our. I made a complete fuss. It was humiliating,
and it was
us.
Well done. And I don't like that, So I had to call in I complained. It was on a group. It was a group thread. I was like, and Andy heard from me too. And I'll tell you what, it was bad. It was real bad.
It was awful. Okay.
Just kidding.
Right. So, picking up from where we left off, you were talking about seeing a headline perhaps and going a little deeper and seeing what other people have to say about that. And how do we know what we know, which is epistemology, which falls squarely under the branch of philosophy. You had mentioned in particular Facebook, and I'm going to share something about a recent Facebook experience of mine. Now,
I'm excited.
Okay, so in my opinion, Facebook, as well as Google and Twitter, they've been bad, and they know what they did, and I can no longer lend my good name to their platforms. So I did have to log in because there's one or two people I still communicate with on Facebook, and I don't feel as bad about it because it's my activity on Facebook is so limited. So anyway, I go in to my Facebook profile, and surprise, surprise, they tell me my account was restricted. And I'm just reading off the screenshots I took. A post from the last year didn't follow our standards, So Facebook standards, let's see, if you can use Facebook to buy and sell slaves in some countries, I'm not really that impressed with their standards.
I agree.
I'm not really that impressed with Facebook.
Did they give
standards.
you a date and time of this?
Yes. Now, for one thing, the post itself was more than a year ago. It was in July of 2019. It's April of 2021. So first of all, their own restriction is inaccurate. It was not a post from within the last year. So that's wrong. It says you can't go live for 30 days. You can't advertise for 30 days, which I wasn't planning on doing either. So maybe I shouldn't share this, but
this is really funny. You have to. I mean, it's really, I guess some people would say it's in poor taste, but I
think
differ.
we all have different tastes. Isn't that right, Raeann?
Yes, we all have different tastes.
Some people don't eat meat. Some people are vegan or vegetarian.
Some people are different than that, apparently.
And some people like to eat other people.
Yeah, I've heard about that.
Some people like to eat other people, and so their voices aren't silenced,
They're not.
So the post is simply this. Jeffrey Dahmer sitting on the toilet. Okay. And it says here, Jeffrey Dahmer dumping his last boyfriend. So while that's not something everybody would post, and that's not something everybody would find informative, we're all informed a little bit differently. And apparently Facebook has decided that my standards aren't quite as high as theirs for their community. So that's my little Facebook tale. So
are you still banned?
Well, yeah, I'm still under a restriction. As I said, I know
it's been over a year. You should be under none.
Well, it's almost as if there's a lack of accountability. Almost as if Facebook isn't accountable to anyone. And the same could be said for Google and for Twitter.
They're probably accountable to their shareholders and where their money's coming from. I probably agree with that. I think anybody would. But how are they restricting what they're restricting, and how are they deciding? And who's deciding is also a question. Who's deciding that this post is inappropriate, yet they allow other things on Facebook and are not policed?
Right. And so that's all part of why there is new media. I can go on to Gab, and post my picture of Jeffrey Dahmer on the toilet.
It's called freedom of speech.
Freedom of speech. Exactly. It's not the, it wasn't an afterthought when this country was founded. It's not the, it's not the 12th Amendment. It's not the 7th. It's not the 3rd. It's the 1st. And when you really think about why anyone even came over here from Europe, it was because it was the religious that were oppressed. They were refugees from a global theocracy. It was a global theocracy. The Church of England, the sun never set on the British Empire. And so it was discovered, hey, there's real estate to the west. And hence, the folks who wanted to practice their different religions or for other reasons, maybe got kicked out of England, you know. But that was the freedom of speech is not only important for the speaker. It's important. It's when you restrict it, it also impedes on the rights of the listener.
Wholeheartedly agree. I was thinking that as you were saying that, I was like, this is for the listener as well as the speaker. Absolutely, Andy. That's a really good point. Mm-hmm. And when you restrict that, you restrict the hearing. Does everybody need to see that Jeffrey Dahmer's on a toilet? No, but the freedom to do that and for another person to find that funny and have a moment of joy in their day or like just a laughter that provides some sort of levity, you don't know.
Right. It's about freely communicating between each other. Is there a third party preventing us from communicating?
Yes.
Is there a gatekeeper between our communications? And apparently so. Now, part of the reason I like spending time finding content creators on YouTube or on Odyssey and on BitChute in particular, there are many, many, many other websites that don't have these sorts of restrictions. Part of the reason it's useful is most of these people were YouTubers. And maybe they still are, but many were kicked off of YouTube. And if you want to find out who's getting kicked off of YouTube and why and for how long, you can't do better than going on BitChute and going on Odyssey. Oh, my friend so-and-so got a 30-day ban for saying this, or someone got demonetized, or someone's account was restricted, or someone's account was limited for this long, for this period of time. The new media, part of the reason for the rise, I should hold short on saying taking over, but the more I think about it, I think 10 years, 20 years in the future, no one's going to be watching CNN. I think Google and Twitter and Facebook will have been completely replaced. So, again,
so I also wanted to ask you because you brought up Odyssey and BitChute. Why would you trust their name or your name with their business, their media business? Why, why would you go to them and put your name in their company and post your beliefs, your statements, anything? Why do you trust them over someone like Google or any kind of other avenue?
I think people like companies and websites. I think you start when you know nothing about a person or an organization. I think a modicum of respect is sort of a starting point, almost like a credit score. Now, over time, as you go through life and you meet many people, I try to sort of have this approach. I trust someone to a certain degree, and I've told this before that if I get asked to lend money to somebody I haven't known very long, $20, let's say. Someone says, can you lend me $20 till next week? I love giving over that $20 because I'm going to find out, for a low, low price, I'm going to find out pretty quickly how well I can trust that person.
I see.
I don't get the $20 back. Well, that's